Good afternoon, hello, welcome to Destination Venus. No longer in the dining room here at Venusian Towers, but actually in my actual office, which for the first time since lockdown started, I can actually get into because I've moved some comics boxes. So, it is Wednesday. It is, in fact, much more importantly, Wednesday, the 27th of May, the day when in the UK, regular shipments of comics from Diamond have restarted. Big smiles. Which means it is most definitely high time to see what is on the rack. It's going to be a long one today. All the lockdown ones are going to be long because you can't come to the shop and browse. So I'll try and make it obvious which comics are being looked at. So if you want to fast forward bits of this, you'll be able to. So first up, we have 20XX issue 4 from Image Comics. Continuing, Lauren Keeley and Jonathan Luna's black and white superhero goodness. I've been loving this book. It's not what I expected. It has made me nostalgic for all of the black and white stuff I used to read in the 80s, though. And it's a very powerful story about belonging and responsibility and how we react to oppression. And it's great. So that's first up. First up from Marvel, we have Avengers issue 33. We are starting a new story arc. So if you were ever going to jump on board, this is a good time to do it. Starting the Age of Khonshu storyline featuring Moon Knight. Who is he getting a film? I think he's getting a film. So you might want to jump on board and see what the Moon Knight character is like. It's been a while since I've looked at the art. It's quite good. Then we have Marvel Action Captain Marvel. So not the main Captain Marvel book. This is the Marvel Action version of the Captain Marvel book. We're on issue 5 now, in spite of the fact we've also had issue 1 recently, have we? But we're featuring the Unstoppable Wasp, who is probably my favourite Marvel character. As you can see, it's quite cartoony art. It is aimed at younger readers, but it's a very satisfying read, actually. I've been digging these. And then hitting issue, what issue are we on now? 7. We have Basket Full of Heads from Joe Hill. If you have been reading Basket Full of Heads, you will want to pick this up because it's the last issue. The story is complete at the end of here, and I've just had a look at the back page and spoiled myself. So well done, Reg. But it's been a bizarre and fantastic horror story. Joe Hill, fantastic writer. Okay, and then moving on from DC, we have a Batman Giant, issue 4 of the Batman Giants. Now, this is good. Yeah, your kids are on half term, may not be back at school yet. It's a lot of comic for your money. We've got some classic reprints of Batman and Nightwing. And there's some Batwoman in here. There's some new stuff. So yeah, these Giants have been really good value, and kudos to DC for putting those out. Also from DC, on the Black Label, we have from the Sandman Universe, Books of Magic, issue 19. Timothy Hunter continues his magical exploration of his powers. I've always had a soft spot for Tim Hunter. It's a remarkably deep book, is the Books of Magic. I know it started off as a Sandman spin-off, but it's so much more than that. So there's that. Then we have from Boom, Buffy the Vampire Slayer 14. And again, this reboot they've done of the Buffy comics, starting again from scratch, effectively, really, really, really loving it. It's tremendously good fun, and the artwork's really cool and fun as well. And finally, no, not finally, I mean finally, it's here. I have been waiting so long for this. Huge fan of the character. Desperate to see her in a movie or a TV show somewhere. Hello, Mandalorian, we're looking at you. Dr. Aphra, issue 1. Jumping forward in the timeline of the Star Wars universe a little bit to join the main Star Wars book, now sitting between Empire and Jedi. Chili Aphra has not changed. She is still exactly who she always was. She's still a scoundrel. And she probably hasn't learned anything from her adventures in the previous run. And then another giant from DC, our Fighting Forces giant, featuring the Unknown Soldier. There's some new Batwoman stuff in here, and there's also a rather cool story of an actual soldier, something that really happened. So there's, let's find a good page. There's, as with all the giants, the art is variable, but none of it's bad. It's, again, a lot of comic for your money. If horror is your thing, Daphne Byrne hits issue 4, again from the Hill House imprint at DC, featuring some fantastic, find a bit that's not spoilery, fantastic gothic-y Kelly Jones art. I do love Kelly Jones's art. And we have DCeased The Unkillables issue 3. I'm never sure. Zombie stuff isn't my bag, as you know, but it is interesting to me that Marvel have hit with the Marvel Zombies again, and DC have got the DCeased thing. Are zombies going to be back in vogue? I thought they'd kind of gone out of fashion a bit. Now, and number 1, look for this to be a pick of the week. It's from the wonderful people at Aftershock. This is Disaster Inc. Very cool art, very arresting cover. So that might be one that you want to look into. As I say, look for it to be a pick of the week. Pick of the week will probably start tomorrow. I don't think I'll get one done today. Also from Hill House, we have the Dollhouse Family, which reaches issue 6. It's a strange, dark little story, this. Again, I've really, really enjoyed it. So that's the Dollhouse Family. And of course, we have Doctor Who. The 13th Doctor hits issue 4. Still crossing over with the 10th Doctor. Still in a story that's happening in the background of the episode Blink. It's sort of Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead to Blink's Hamlet. Actually, Blink's a lot more fun than Hamlet. So that's all going on. And I tell you, Jody Houser is knocking it out the park. It's immensely depressing to me that Jody Houser hasn't written for the TV show yet. She really, really, really should. And back into the Sandman universe, The Dreaming hits issue 20. Issue 20, can you believe it? And again, this is a thing that I have very much been enjoying. As we follow the characters, well, effectively from Sandman, into a post-Sandman world. Farmhands hits issue 15. all the plant-based transplanting you could possibly want. Gloriously, gloriously dark, twisty horror from Rob Gilroy. It's really good stuff. I have loved the heck out of this series. I think it's coming to a close, and I'm very sad about it. I'm very happy, though, that Exorcisters is back. Issue 6 finally drops. I can't remember when issue 5 was. It was months ago. This is very light-hearted. Sort of in the spirit of Buffy, but not. As the Exorcisters continue to battle, evil and stuff. Great characters, lovely art, just all around great. And speaking of all around great, 5 years makes it to issue 9. This is probably my favourite comic of the moment. It is a continuation of Terry Moore's Strangers in Paradise universe, which has included Rachel Rising and Echo, Strangers in Paradise, obviously, and Motor Girl, and all that good stuff. All those characters are back. And it's just, I mean, look at the art. Just look at the art. It's so beautifully done. I've been a fan of Terry Moore since the mid-90s, and I swear to you, he just keeps getting better. Coming to a close, not quite just yet. I think there's 3 more issues to go after this one. Harley Quinn hits issue 72. It's finishing this run at 75. Probably a bit late to jump on board the bandwagon if you're not already on board. But I'm digging the art. It's really, really subtle and delicate, which is not what I expect from Harley Quinn. We've got not one, but 2 issues of Justice League, 44 and 45. Both arrived today. This is what happens when Diamond goes on lockdown and DC doesn't much. So they are both available for you. And if you were thinking only 2 issues of Justice League, we need more Justice League than that. Justice League Odyssey hits issue, was it 20? Issue 20. So if you've been following a slightly alternative Justice League agenda, that is available for you too. Kill Whitey Donovan comes to a close. Again, I do love a Western, and this has been a crackingly good, very dark Western series. Can't recommend it hardly enough. The trade will be out very shortly if you've missed it in singles. From Boom, the very strange King of Nowhere. We still have issues of issue 1 if you haven't jumped on board yet. This is just surreal. I mean that in its literal sense. This is a surrealist story. I'm not entirely sure what's going on. It's one of those books where you genuinely can't tell if things are real or in the protagonist's head. And I quite like that. I also very much like Lois Lane. This has been a revelation of a book. This is not Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane. I mean, she isn't Superman's girlfriend, she's Superman's wife, but it's not that. It's not a Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane tone of a book. This is very much focusing on Lois Lane, the greatest investigative reporter the world has ever seen, not being able to recognize people when they take their glasses off, withstanding. The vibe of this book more me in mind of Bendis's best work on Jessica Jones, or even Jinx. It's not quite a crime book, and it does have the superhero fantasticality element to it. But this is as gritty and real as a book set in the DC universe can be, really. It's Gotham Central levels of gritty and real, which, if you remember Gotham Central from back in the day, that was a proper full-on crime book, and pretty much so is Lois Lane. Again, back with Joe Hill's Hill House Comics, the fifth, good lord, issue 5 already, fifth issue of the Low Low Woods. Again, I have been very much enjoying this. This actually isn't written by Joe Hill, but it's very much in the tradition of Joe's dad's work, in that we're in a small town in the Midwest and something's not right and the kids have to fix it. It's, if you like Stephen King's, the stuff like it, or you are a fan of Stranger Things, this is very much a book you might want to check out. Then we have Marauders hits issue 10 as the ex-Navy, I guess you'd call it, continues its adventures around the globe, doing stuff to protect mutants, while Emma Frost dresses like that. She doesn't change. Now, I don't think I've actually got any spare issues of this. I'm pretty sure I'm sold out on pre-orders, but it's worth asking. Mirka, so why am I showing you this? I'm showing this because it's gorgeous, is why I'm showing you this. Mirka Andolfo's Mercy. Andolfo is just such a stunning artist. She gets so much expression into the faces. Her art it's a really delicate line. The colouring is spot on. All that said, this is a very dark story. It's a very dark tale indeed. But it's just fantastic. So if you've ordered that, you've definitely got it. I'm not sure if I've got any spares. If you haven't ordered it, ask. I might be able to get some restocks, although the way Mirka Andolfo's work sells, probably can't. Out of Darkness, mashing up with Chew, continues. This is an odd book. I mean, Chew is an odd book. Out of Darkness is an odd book. Any mashup of Out of Darkness and Chew was bound to be weird. This is weird. In a good kind of way, though. And it's made me appreciate Out of Darkness a little bit more, to be honest. If you're not familiar with Out of Darkness, imagine Star Trek, but everyone's horrible. So that is that. Coming to the end now, not that many left. I think this is the last of the Joe Hill books. And this one actually is written by Joe Hill. This is Plunge. Issue 3. A very damp maritime horror story. It's excellent. Very, very creepy. If you like your horror creepy, Plunge is definitely for you. Then we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 43. Doing pretty much what Spider-Man is supposed to do. It's big, and it's brash, and it's bright, and it's loud. And that's really what we want from the main Spidey book, isn't it? Speaking of big, brash, and loud, we have Suicide Squad hitting issue 5. Trying to find a double spread of 2 pages of art together so I can show you. Again, this is a good run of Suicide Squad. If you like Suicide Squad, this is what you will have been wanting. It's good, solid, slightly bonkers, very explodey, loud, violent, fun. Speaking of Mirka Andolfo, as we were a minute ago, her Unsacred comic. This is a weird little book, a very weird little book. It features Mirka Andolfo's more cartoony art style, I am looking for pages I can show you, because this one does have a little bit of the rudiness in it. So I'll show you that. Sorry about the phone, by the way. It won't be for me. My wife actually works for a living, and it'll be for her. So that's that. I think this is the last one, issue 5. But if you like Mirko Andolfo's art, it's a book for you. It's an odd little book. I can only assume it was originally published in Italian, and I can only assume it wasn't published in whole comics. It was published as, you know, a couple of pages in an anthology every week or month or whatever, because it doesn't quite hang together as a coherent story, but it is, as I say, stunning to look at. Then we have Venom. Now, note the price. This is more expensive than normal. This is $4.99. It's issue 25, and as Marvel are want to do, and to celebrate a landmark issue, they've made it bigger as a special treat that you're paying for. But you know, it is what it is, and you know, Venom being Venomy is pretty much what this is all about. And again, they've gone for the fat, cartoony style of art that Marvel seems to be favouring these days. So that is that, and then finally, another giant from DC. It's the 4th Wonder Woman giant, and again, it is what it is. There is all sorts of stuff in here. Some reprint, some new, but an awful lot of comic for your money. Okay, it's graphic novel numbers of pages for $4.50. It's, you know, a lot of comic for your money. So that is the rack. Now, I do not have access to the shop at the moment because the cinema is closed, and I can't just go wandering in willy-nilly. So I don't have access directly to a lot of graphic novels. I am able to order graphic novels to be delivered directly to you from the distributor. So if there's a graphic novel you particularly want, just give me a shout. However, some graphic novels arrive from Diamond today, which means they're in my house and available immediately. So here's what's on the shelf. We have got one of the DC young adult book graphic novels. This is Gotham High from Melissa de la Cruz. Bruce Wayne has been kicked out of boarding school and goes back to Gotham City to find out that nothing is the way he left it. The house is empty. Selina Kyle, who was previously the innocent girl next door, now rules over Gotham High with a dangerous flair, aided by the class clown Jack Napier. Now there's a name that's familiar. Then there's a kidnapping, and Bruce seeks answers. And is he a Dark Knight, or is he a pawn? Is he? Fun art, lots of teenage angst. Good stuff. We also have an original graphic novel from Image. This has not ever been published in singles. Out today, at least in the UK. I think it may have been out in America for a while because they didn't lock down nearly as much as we did. This is Bog Bodies. Declan Shalvey and Gavin Fullerton. It is a cop story set in rural Ireland, where they often find bodies in bogs. Is this one a homicide? Who can say? Well, you'll be able to say if you read the book. I've been looking forward to this one for a while, so I'm probably going to make it a pick of the week. Another one that may well become pick of the week, another DC graphic novel for younger readers, or kids, as DC used to call them. My video game ate my homework. So Dewey Jenkins needs to get an A+ on his final science project, or he's going to fail the year. But is his volcano model really good enough? With just days to go before the contest, the grand prize for the science fair, state-of-the-art virtual reality game console, falls into the hand of Dewey's best friend, who accidentally breaks it. And then the adventures really start. Again, bright, fun art. Really relatable characters that I think kids are going to get a kick out of. So that's a good one. Not new, but just landed. I actually don't remember ordering this, but I'm glad I did. Kelly Sue DeConnick and Valentine Landro. Bitch Planet, Extraordinary Machine. What is Bitch Planet? Well, if you're a woman, if you're non-compliant, if you're too fat, too thin, too loud, too shy, too religious, too secular, too prudish, too sexual, too queer, too black, too brown, or too whatever the heck else it is they'll judge you for, Bitch Planet might be the place for you. And if you're not any of those things, it's just a cracking good book. Fantastic satire from somebody I think is one of the best writers currently in comics. DeConnick and Delandro are co-creators of this. Kelly Sue DeConnick's writing is just fabulous. It's just great stuff. So always a recommendation. And then if you missed it in singles, the second volume of American Jesus just finished. The first volume is now back in print. So we have both volumes of American Jesus. I'm for some of you, I may have spoiled the end of the first book. I won't do it again. Suffice to say, it is what would it be like if the second coming of Jesus Christ happened in the America of the 1970s? It's by Mark Miller and Peter Gross. Peter Gross, I think, really works for this story. That's the second volume, and it's just great. It's just great stuff. That's really good. And finally, from the shelf, the first collection of the very brilliant Family Tree. Because what do you do when your 8-year-old daughter starts turning into a tree? Particularly when it turns out that your 8-year-old daughter turning into a tree is actually connected to something huge and scary, and triggers a journey across America to try and get to the bottom of everything. It's just great. Just great. So that is everything, and I've just about kept it under half an hour. So yay me. We will be sending out invoices this afternoon. We will be delivering from tomorrow. So we will see some of you then, from an appropriate social distance, of course. And we'll be back with the Daily Waffle tomorrow morning. So until we see you then. Oh, no, one more thing before I go. You may have heard that shops are opening up on the 15th of June. We are not currently. Obviously, we are shut until the cinemas are shut, as long as the cinema's shut. So it's looking like July at the earliest before we'll be back actually on Station Parade. In the meantime, we will keep doing this. And we really do. Thank you for your support. But the end is in sight, but it's not here yet. And with that, we will say goodbye. We will see you tomorrow with the Daily Waffle. Until then, be kind to yourself, be kind to everybody else, and above all else, love comics, because they're awesome. It's good, isn't it? We'll see you soon. Take care, guys.